So if I'm honest, I don't really know where to start with this video. Suppose I've had a lot of friends who have asked me how they can help. What can they do? What can they learn? What can they read? So this is coming from that place. This is for you out there who want to learn, who want to understand, who want to help. And I have done that in the way that I feel I can, which is to compile a list of things for you to watch that will help you learn, that will help you understand, that will help you feel things that Black people feel every single day, that Black people experience every single day. It's the Black experience, and I want you to understand it fully because you have asked, because you need to, because it's how you will understand. So this is for you. This isn't for me. I've watched these things. I know these things. I've experienced these things. I hope that you watch these things and I hope that you learn. And if you have questions, ask me, because I want to help you. I want to help you, help me, help Black people. Okay, so I've got 5 things that I want to share with you. As I said, these are things that I have watched. Obviously, there is a lot out there that you can watch that will help you learn. There is a lot out there that you can read that will help you learn. I've just chosen 5 things that for me have stood out, that I have enjoyed watching, that I have learned things from, and that I feel you will really learn from. I've got 2 documentaries for you, I've got 3 films for you, and I've got 1 TV show for you. These are all accessible for you to watch right now. I hope that you learn. So let's start with number 1. In fact, I'm going to start firstly with the 2 documentaries because I think these are the most important. As these 2 documentaries will help you to better understand the films and the TV show.
The 13th Amendment to the Constitution makes it unconstitutional for someone to be held as a slave. There are exceptions, including criminals.
The loophole was immediately exploited.
So the first documentary is 13th. It is available on Netflix right now by Ava DuVernay. And this documentary explains the 13th Amendment on the US Constitution. And I'm just going to read out the amendment to you first so you understand as to where this documentary is starting from and what you're going to learn from it. The amendment reads this: "Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude, except as a punishment for crime whereof the party shall have been duly convicted, shall exist within the United States or any place subject to their jurisdiction. Neither slavery nor involuntary servitude shall exist within the United States, except as a punishment for crime." That clause is so important and is the basis for this documentary to explain as to why, for starters, Black people are so marginalised and oppressed when it comes to policing and law enforcement, and as to why the prison system is so out of whack in America, why it is so filled to the brim, and why most of those people are Black men. Black men make up 6.5% of the US population. 40% of them are in prison. And what you will learn in this documentary as why that clause was written in. It's all to do with the end of the American Civil War and when the Southern economy lost 4 million slaves. The whole Southern economical structure lost 4 million slaves. They needed their workforce back. That clause got put into the amendment. It then goes back through all of American history from the end of the Civil War to near enough present day. The documentary came out in 2016, so...
Today, this jury told the world that what we all saw wasn't a crime.
We have to show Los Angeles that we are resilient.
So the second documentary I think you guys should really take a look at is LA 92. Again on Netflix. It is all about, of course, the Los Angeles riots in 1992, and I've chosen it for 2 reasons. Reason number 1, it is the prime example of how things can go too far. The second reason I've picked this documentary is to understand why it got that bad, because the events that led up to that will explain to you exactly why it got so bad. It will show you as to exactly why events this time around have hit nearly the same height. It's a great reminder that if systems don't change, that if true justice is not served, things will get out of hand, and guess what? History will repeat itself. One thing the documentary does very well is to show how riots got out of hand in the 60s and how 30 years later it happened again, and how 30 years later it's happening again, because the system didn't change. These moments, these horrible things that happen only happen because the system doesn't change. And if it's not got extreme enough for you yet, if it needs to be extremer, watch LA 92. It could have gotten that bad. I was tempted to turn off. It was difficult, the images. So just bear that in mind when you do watch it. Some of the images are difficult, but watching it you'll understand. Okay, so I've chosen 3 films for you to watch as well. Now, these films I've chosen because each one shows a different form of racism. Racism isn't just about blurting off the N-word and putting on a white hood. It's deeper than that. There are different forms, different degrees, and I feel that these 3 films show you 3 different realities of racism. Some you might not have been exposed to, some you might not have seen, some you may be aware of, but you've wondered, is it really? Well, it is. And these 3 films will show you that.
What can I do you for?
Well, since you asked, I hate blacks. I hate Jews, Mexicans and Irish, Italians and Chinese. But my mouth to God's ears, I really hate those black rats. And anyone else, really, that doesn't have pure white Aryan blood running through their veins.
I'm happy to be talking to a true white American.
God bless white America.
So the first is Spike Lee's Black Klansman. I actually only watched this film recently. It's a film that has been sat on my shelf for a while now, and I finally watched it, and it is great to show you the more obvious racism, you know, the white supremacist side of it. It is about a black cop working with a white cop to infiltrate the KKK. It is a brilliant film because what it does is it is very easily digestible in what it's showing. It shows it to you in a light-hearted manner, and the message, I mean, it comes across, you know, because as I say, it's the most obvious form of racism, so it's easy for you to understand that extreme of it. But then the ending of the film comes along, and the ending of the film, I won't spoil it for you because I want you to watch it and I want you to have the same emotions that I did when I watched the end of this film. But it will hit you like a ton of bricks to the face you have never felt in your life. Because what it does is it shows that when white supremacy is not handled by the leaders of a country, and you know what leader I'm already talking about before I even need to speak their name. When a leader of a country does not only not handle white supremacy, but cheers it on, tells the public they are good people. What is shown to you at the end of that film is exactly what happens. And it usually takes those moments, those extreme moments, for people to understand. It's a great starting off point, this film. It's amazing. It's very good. You will enjoy it. And you will understand that the leaders we pick, the leaders we choose, the leaders we put in office, and you'll learn this watching the documentary 13th as well, they have all the accountability. All of it. All of the accountability. And it's something you'll notice in a film I'm going to talk about in a bit as well. Bear it in mind when you watch it.
That's my son.
You need to get back in the house or I will ruin your night.
I gotta talk to my moms like that.
You had to change the situation. Would you take it?
So the next film I have chosen is Straight Outta Compton. I've chosen this one as it is very good at showing the police brutality side of racism, showing how the cops exercise their power in order to oppress black people. Straight Outta Compton is a great example for me of how you can channel your anger into different energies, and for the guys for NWA, as depicted in this film, they channeled it into music. You know, it shows black people using their talent, using their voices, using their words to tell you what is happening to them. NWA were brutal, they were honest. Their words go to places, they really do. Places that you might question, but they are just being honest. They are rapping to you the reality of the world that they live in. They say in the film, the media aren't portraying it, so we're having to do your job. We're having to portray it for you. We're having to tell the people what is going on. And if you watch this film after you watch 13th and you watch LA 92, I watched this film before watching those documentaries, and I've watched it since watching those documentaries. It took on a new light watching it the second time round. Watch 13th, watch LA 92. Once you've watched them, watch Straight Outta Compton. See how you feel when you understand the build-up, the domino effect, as to what they went through and how they then channeled their anger.
Your life is still meaningful, and I'm gonna do everything possible to keep them from taking it.
You don't know what you're into down here in Alabama when you're guilty from the moment you're born.
God.
Mr. McMillan.
We done here.
Mr. McMillan, please.
So the next film I've gotten down for you guys to watch, for you to learn, to understand the Black experience is Just Mercy. This is a recent film based off of a book written by an attorney, Brian Stevenson, of the same title. This film is to show you systemic racism, to show you the institutional side of racism, how it is built into the system, how the system uses its power, uses its privilege to falsify evidence, to hide evidence, to coerce people into falsifying evidence, into being false witnesses. It doesn't matter to the system if the real criminal is still out there in the world, because that real criminal is a white person. They put a black person behind bars, and that's a celebration, that's a win, that's a victory. This was a real thing that happened. Michael B. Jordan plays this attorney who wrote this book about his experience, about these cases he was looking after. I say these cases, these people that were put in cages, put in prisons for crimes they didn't commit. But because they were black, they got put behind bars. I've cried watching films before. Not like I did when I watched Just Mercy though. From about the midway point of the film, right to the end. Even more importantly, it was happening in our lifetime. I was watching that film with my youngest sister. I have two sisters. I was watching it with my youngest sister. And there was one point in the film when a year came up, and I turned to her and I said, both me and your sister were alive at this point. Both me and your sister were in the world at this point, where this real thing was going on. In fact, it shows at the end of the film the photos and videos of the real people, of the people that the actors are playing in this film. And one of these black guys who was wrongly put behind bars, he only got out 5 years ago, less than 5 years ago. Wrongly convicted. Back in the 80s. He only just got out no more than 5 years ago.
Trigger warning. The following program is meant for both white and black audiences, and every other color imaginable.
Dear white people.
Alright, as I said at the top of the video, I also have a TV show for you to watch, and this TV show is Dear White People. Anyone that's been on this channel for a long time or knows me well knows that Dear White People struck an instant chord with me. It's kind of the culmination of the three films I've already talked about, in that it shows all these different forms of racism, but it does it in a way that is very real and is very relatable. It's the most relatable thing I have ever watched. It's a very real show, and you get to see these different forms of racism, these different forms of microaggressions that people think aren't racist. They think it's just a comment. No. It's not just a comment. What was intended from that comment has been felt. If you want to learn the black experience as to how it is in the modern day, as to how it is now, as to what we experience day to day right now, Dear White People helps you to see the stuff you don't see on a daily basis, but we experience on a daily basis. If I've got a too long didn't read this thing, Dear White People shows you the experiences we experience every day. It's very good in showing multiple different angles from multiple different people on multiple different issues that largely go unnoticed, but are experienced every day by black, mixed race, Asian, indigenous, you name it. They've lived it. I know this feels like it's a very sad video, but I mean, where are we at right now? Let's be fair. As I said at the beginning of this video, I've listed things that I've watched and that I recommend, but there's so much out there. My watch list, my read list, I can't even see the end of it at the moment. It grows every day. So if you have anything that you have watched, that you have read, that you feel I should watch and read as well, please drop them in the comment section down below. If you feel that people also need to watch those things. Of course, as I said, this video isn't for me. It is for you. It is for you to learn. So let's let the comment section be a bibliography of things for people to go out and watch and read. I'll be linking everything I have mentioned in the description box. I'll also be linking sites to petitions, to places where you can donate, all that information you need as well. That will also be down in the description box. I ask that you share this video, please, that you drop it with a like so that it can reach more people. I don't need anything except this video reaching more people, and if you want this video to reach more people, you need to drop it with a like and you need to share it, please. That is how more people get these materials, and that would be amazing. Thank you very much.